the Rohingya people have been subject to inhuman acts for many decades. They are the most voiceless people in the world, as the UN said. UN described them. The most tortured and persecuted people on the earth. I wanted to be a voice for these people myself. And I'm sure many of you are thinking the same. And I hope at the end of this meeting, of course, I speak sometimes with 5,000 people are there, mashallah. The quality is important, not the quantity, we usually say. However, together perhaps we unite and help the most tortured people to have at least the basic human right. The basic human right. This doesn't ask too much. The basic human right. They haven't got even the right they say dog has. I prove it. For that reason, of course, I would like to show you what is that and what is Burma. Many people does not know. As Burma, Rohingya, I said, here you have 5 pounds, thank you very much. Poor people, poor people, poor. Let's go and have a cup of tea. That's all. But the people are dying. They are part of the human race. We are the human race. We are part of the planet. It's our brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters in humanity are dying. We can't just say, here you are, and I go and have a cup of tea. Thank you very much. Jack, I'm okay. This is, of course, Burma. I want to show where is this by satellite. Where is the standing, of course, the Burma or Myanmar. Of course, we got you can say Thailand, we got Cambodia, and we got Bangladesh. Of course, is around. And here, which we have on that part, which you can say small part, there is Rakhine or Rakhine. Rakhine is there, and of course, the Myanmar people are the Rohingya people are there where the purple is. This is a place where they are standing. And the history, of course, I'm going to tell you a very short history of that. I know it's a very boring coming because after 20 minutes, as a lecturer of the Oxford University, 20 minutes, if I talk to my students, they are all going to sleep or playing with the mobile. Therefore, perhaps to get your attention, it takes 1 week for me to write it. And of course, half an hour, you just listen. I know. A short history, of course, and Aryan people from the Rakhine state, the state which shows be able to trace them to the 8th century. 8th century. Now the Myanmar says they are not existent. They are illegals. 8th century. Of course, over 1,000 years. That's what you can see. The oldest, of course, Arakan, which was a kingdom. You can read it, of course, yourself. But Arakan was a kingdom. We have several hundred years or over 1,000 years of which they are there. They say the nations claim the nation. We say it's a nation of Rohingya. Claim that they are descended from the pre-colonial and after colonial. I will talk about colonial as well. From what we have here, you can see, of course, from 9th century to 14th century, Rohingya came to the contact with Islam and, of course, Arabs. You can see at the moment from there, of course, you can see the coin. The coin is at the moment 962 is Arabic written down, and the king something Sultan Malik or whatever, which is there. That's their money, which was, of course, Arakan was a kingdom before on 8th century to later was kingdom. And this mosque, which you can see, is the 14th century mosque, which has been, of course, at the moment been demolished by Myanmar government. Now we come from the 18. I don't want to make a mistake on the slides. 1824, the British captured Burma. British captured Burma, of course, and many workers immigrate to Burma for working and infrastructure. The general, I say just I point on it. I'm sure people knows that history is boring, really. In 1942, Japan invaded Burma and they kicked out the British. And of course, Burman nationalists were attacked the Muslim in Rohingya. Muslim in Rohingya attacked them, and of course, because they saw, of course, the government of the Burma, government of the British government was helping the Rohingya. So they killed, they destroyed, they raped. I'll be quick. After 3 years, in 1945, Britain liberated again the Burma. And of course, Aung San, you can see, of course, Aung San is the father of Aung San Suu Kyi. If you look, the face is the same as Aung San Suu Kyi, of course, if you are familiar with the name. General Aung San, of course, the Britain came and took over with the help of the General Aung San, and of course the fighters of the Rohingya fighters. And of course, the Rohingya fighters, they said, what we want to at the moment from the British, we want to have our place, or recognized as a Rohingya, and of course the state. But of course, as you know, the British, which one of them I am, usually promise and break his promise, as usual. After 13 years, 1962, General Ni Win, and of course his Burma's Socialist Program Party seized from the British, and of course went against the Rohingya again. The rape, the killing, the damaging, and of course burning. All these things, several centuries, they burning, they killing, they raping, they burning children, they raping the woman, gang rape. This is not a joke. They burning, and right they're doing now, and they get away with it. They are human monster. Is there? I talk about the United Nations, what the United Nations, and what of course human right watch saying about it. Is that me to say? Of course, they came to the party, and again he was a dictator, and president, and of course came and again destroyed, killing the Rohingya. After 15 years, in 1977, the junta operation, or Dragon King, became, you can see, of course, I made it very soft these ones, soft power of art, but I did not make it those raping and those killings which feel awful. I'm sure you can Google it and you'll find out what is happening. I make it very soft one because I didn't want your day become miserable. God bless you all. Now, what you have, of course, the operation, they came and the 200,000 Rohingya fled because of raping, gang rape, burning, killing these innocent people. And of course, everybody, army completely denied it, as usual. Of course, in 1978, and 78 and to 79, of course, they came to Bangladesh, Burma, and of course, UN decided to bring them back. They brought him back. Of course, they decided we have to look and bring 200,000 back. Of course, 200,000 came back. A new immigration on 1982, a new immigration law refined that these are again they're illegal. By the way which they were, again I repeat it again, they had the people of the Rohingya in a parliament, as a ministerial, in a parliament. That says new regime says. Of course, the army changed in the 1989. The army changed the name Burma to Myanmar. God knows for what. We talk about it later. And in 1991, more than 250,000 Rohingya refugees fled again because there was forced labor, because there was no food, because there were rape and slavery and burning again. Just doing it and get away with it, and United Nations and rest of us turning their face back. Thank you, let's go and have a cup of tea. That's what we do. Our British doing. Maybe somebody else is doing different. However, and of course they fled to many countries. Malaysia, Bangladesh, and of course many other countries. In 2012, my brothers and sisters, in 2012, what happened? Fight broke out between the Arakan, Rakhine, and of course Rohingya. And hundreds of people got killed between that two, Buddhist and a Muslim. I'm talking about humanitarian, not Muslim and not Buddhist, humanitarian subject we are talking forward. And of course, around 150,000, many got killed, and 150,000 people went to the concentration camp, which exists up to now. The concentration camp is there and exists up to now. You can see it. It's there. We are trying to take it off, of course, with the help of, perhaps help of the British government. And the president, of course, ethnic cleansing. In 2016, Rohingya militant group Haraka al-Yaqeen, which is called, of course, a true movement. It's called a true movement, of course, because of the rape, because of the genocide, because of what they're doing. Of course, I turn back at genocide. I'm trying to prove it is genocide. They say it is a sign of genocide. But rape and torture and killing, they said, okay, let's go and fight. And they fight, and after that, what happened? The hell broke out. 25,000 people fled, and of course, many again raped, burned, and killed. Raped, burned, and killed. My sisters. These are my sisters. These are my nephews. All of us are nephews. We are one human race. Doesn't matter despite the color or the short or tall or whatever. In 2017, August 2017, the hell broke out. Burmese military attacked 288 villages they burned. What they said, as of course the official says, what they said, if we come in 2 hours, if you are there, you are a terrorist. With the little children, with the mother. I interviewed one of the mothers. You know what she said? She said, I've been gang raped. My husband was... I've been gang raped in front of my husband. After that, they killed my husband. I had 3 children. 3 children. Is there? One of them, they threw it in a fire. And they said, escape with them too. Gang rape. These are very important to know while we are talking in the country diplomacies. How we can sort these problems out. Of course, it's not only this one, many other countries around the world having the same. But in my heart at the moment is the Rohingya. I can't do all of them. And I'm trying to get it, and I will tell you, of course. Nation. Okay. What happened? United Nations has stated, this is very important, stated that attack is very well organized. You can see it here. You can read it, of course, what I'm saying, or you can listen to me. Very well organized. It's organized somehow. When they rape him, they're scared to go back, and they never come back again. They are not going to come back because they know they're going to be raped and murdered and killed. And 500 villages have been left. We are trying to protect the 500 villages as well. Otherwise, they're going to take it all. Elderly children. Another one, of course, you can see. Children already been burnt, shot while they're escaping. And 700,000 escaped. 700,000 is the biggest exodus from one movement to another. 700,000. And you can see, of course, the pictures. And here we got, of course, a starvation. I had many slides, which I said, let me take it out because it's very stressing. The people, they put in so much together, which they do not put the animal, they do not put the dog, they do not put the sheep, they do not put the chicken together, because it's against the law. But they put them together, and they die. Of course, you can read, of course, the starvation, as I said, and the mob, all the mobs, taking everything. At the moment, on the 500 I heard, taking everything from those people which they are there and they cannot say anything. They got the cows, they got the sheep, they got the cattle, they are people of the earth. People which are living on the earth, standing there. And of course, United Nations has said this is a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. ethnic cleansing of the nation. You cannot destroy one whole nation. You cannot destroy one whole nation. And of course, United Nations, they're the most persecuted people in the world, on the earth. That's the United Nations. We come into Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi, of course, I show you his father. His father was great father, they say great general, but she was very kind. Of course, Aung San was good. 15 years himself, he was under house arrest. And what happened after that? What is very important, what happened after that? What made her to go in this way, which in her doorstep, the rape coming, the killing coming, the burning coming, the destruction of the whole nation coming, and she says silence. She says it's a fake news. She thinks she's Donald Trump. And to say anything's a fake news. Fake news. And of course, what was 2 days ago, before that I come in here, 2 days ago, was the Panorama, BBC Panorama is a very powerful program, which they said Aung San Suu Kyi, or Aung San Suu Kyi is with the government, is guilty as the government. You can look at it, and you can of course Google it. That's what I'm saying. Of course, as an Oxford University's scholar or whatever, student or whatever you want to call it, we had their pictures. We debate, and a picture came down. It's very important for her, very important for the Burma as well. And of course, we took the freedom of Oxford City is one of the best academic city in the world. We took it off, and we are going to take her degree off with the university without complication. It's very important. Aung San Suu Kyi should stay there, should come to Britain, come to Germany, say, I cannot stand this. But she stayed there, and they said, nothing happened. And of course the future. There is no future. There is no future for the people, as we mentioned, there is, of course, what he says, Hang Hee, the United Nations Special Investigator on Myanmar, believe that country wants to expel entire. Expel entire. That's it. I'm not saying it. Of course, you can see the UN Special say. Google it, you will find it. It's not from me. It's a quote from me. And UN official, of course, and the Human Rights Watch described the Myanmar persecution as an ethnic cleansing. And we still turn our face aside. Who is responsible? Who can look after these people? And of course, UN Human Rights Envoy to Myanmar reported that which it is a crime against the humanity. Crime against the humanity. Is it all from UN? And of course, unfolding genocide. Unfolding is coming all on the quotation. That means it is their word. A genocide. A crime with the human monsters, which are like to rape the people, destroy the little children, and all of them. Despite Rohingya has been for 1,000 years there. Rakhine has been 1,000 years there. They say, and the government of Myanmar say, do not speak at Rohingya. Name Rohingya does not exist. I hope people doesn't go to sleep when I'm talking. And even if it was, of course, time to time when I'm lecturing in university, if you're asleep, I say, everybody stand up. I'm allowed to because I'm a lecturer. And they go down. However, and even the Pope went there. Our Pope went there, he could not speak. Name of the Rohingya. That's loss of influence. The Pope. And of course, what Arakan Rohingya national wants is they say we want our independence. Don't take your time. Return to peace. There are many ways to return to peace to Myanmar. Of course, the return of the PDP, a parliamentary democracy party of the Burma, founded by Prime Minister Uno, who recognized the Rohingya as a nation, and of course with the General Aung San, which is a good person. Now, of course, I spoke to Mr. Bo Ang Ding, the current chairman of PDP. He's in the United Kingdom. And of course, many things we got to do. We have to support the United Nations. We have to support the nation about the resolution. We have to stop the torture and of course rape and everything happening. We have to start the arm embargo. We have to stop these one, and we have to recognize the Rohingya as a one of the nation. 135 nation is there. 135 ethnic nation is there. They don't accept this one. I'm talking about humanitarian, not Muslim and Buddhist. Of course, at the moment you can see Universal Peace Federation, which is one of the director of Universal Peace Federation in London. And of course we have a 50 organization, 50 offices all around the world, and I would say is as second to the United Nations, as big as that. And of course I'm interviewing him he's a chair of the Democracy Party of Burma. A practical thing which Britain can do, of course, I talk to the Britain as well. I've talked to the officials, the lords, the parliamentarian, and the armies, and everybody else. They listen. When I speak, they listen. If they do anything or not, still they listen. That's good. At least they listen. More than 700,000 are there. They are dying. They are living in their thesis. They cut the mountain, goes around. And when the rain comes, they got a pot like this, which they can relieve themselves there, and the rain comes, fill it up, and they take it to the other one. And they had everything they wanted there. We spent billions, Muslims spent billions of pounds for them. Several million I raised for them. It was not a tsunami. It was not an earthquake. Which I can say these are poor. It was a result of a dictator government which they're taking it forward and bringing him there and destroying them. Why should I pay? Why should Burma pay? These are very important, of course. We have many things here. And we have to bring the generals to court. What I done, of course, I talked to the Secretary General of United Nations in details. Antonio Guterres. Talk about what is happening. Before, 3 months before it's happened, the new things happen. He said, give me some proposal, and of course I take it to the assembly. And of course, what is happening at the moment? He said, a proposal. What we need to do, I've got several QCs. I don't understand your CQC. There's a Queen's Chamber lawyers, or top lawyers in the world. We are employ them to find the fact finding. Is there any genocide? We know ethnic cleansing. Of course, International Amnesty. We are working very close together to bring one or two of the general to Court of Justice. If we proved, bring it to Court of Justice. If we proved that they ordered for the genocide, ordered for the raping, ordered for that, they have to go to Court of Justice. We're doing that. We have to get all united together. It's not my job only. It's all friends. It could have happened to me, to you, to your sister, to your brothers. These are very important. All these. We are brothers and sisters in humanity. We are one planet and one human race. There is no alien. Therefore, what we need to do, we need to bring justice to these poor people. Just humanity justice. And the minimum of human rights. A little bit food, a little bit shelter, which any dog can have. Please take this one all over the world. And say, what is happening to these people? It could have easily happened to me. To you. Thank you very much for listening. If there is a question.